You ever scrolling on TikTok and you find a video that's so cursed, you wonder, what mistakes have I made to lead me here? You find a TikTok where a woman fakes a seizure, but she also stopped a school shooting through interpretive dance. And that's when I knew I'm making a video about this. And trust me, that is just the opening act.
5.
That's a slur. Well, my friend said it, so.
4.
This is why this generation are snowflakes.
3.
So I'm sorry, I've lost respect for Joseph Quinn if he's dating Doja Cat. Because Doja Cat's a problematic person. She's got daddy issues.
2.
Another seizure.
1.
I thought that would be such a cool opener, but now I'm just thinking anyone who's not from the USA is gonna be like, girl, you make tea in the microwave? This is Sarah Rawrr, the main character of her own multiverse, also known as Sarah Undergrove. A TikToker in her late 20s who's built an entire online persona of faking disorders, and a TikTok page that is basically doubled as a wedding registry for her fictional husband, Eddie Munson. And this is not the peak, we're just warming up here. We're talking fake deaths of loved ones, medical contradictions that change every live stream, plagiarized poems and art, and a stabbing, that she cured with biotin oil. Yes, really. If you like the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe, comment below so that the algorithm knows I am not screaming into the void. And let's talk about it, because this rabbit hole goes so much deeper than one can imagine. All right, let's talk about the live stream. You know the one. You're watching a live, maybe she's giving off a little cozy energy, maybe reading some affirmations, I don't know, maybe trauma dumping, and all of a sudden she starts convulsing. No warning, no context, no lead-in. It goes from casual trauma dump to, am I watching a medical emergency in real time?
Yeah. Not again. Another seizure. My bones. My bones. I didn't mean to scare you. I've been having to go to the doctor's. I'm fine, I'm sitting. I'm fine.
And then her mom calls her name from the other room, and she just conveniently snaps out of it. Instantly. It's like someone just flipped a switch. Sure, she had a little grogginess. Not quite. I just experienced a medical event level grogginess. More like, I just stood up too fast vibes, just anyway. And just like that, everyone had the same thought. What is it that I just witnessed? She would later say that it was a real seizure. She claimed to have epilepsy, and get this, the overstimulation from stupid people on the internet triggered it. But here's the thing, she never mentioned having epilepsy before the stream. Look, I conveniently have never informed you I'm not a neurologist, but even I was like, so she just gonna hear her name and rejoin the chat like nothing happened? Naturally, viewers did start asking questions, and so our cinematic universe expands. I have Tourette's, I have anxiety, I've had brain surgery. There was a benign mass on my brain. I was in a coma. When I was 15, I was in a car accident where my brain stopped developing. Like, girl, can you just admit at this point that you survived the Titanic because you were abducted by aliens? Go for it, because honestly, I'm already numb to it. But each claim somehow tops the last. And none of this has been said before, which, okay, but she did stream like up to 3 times a day. And then the plot got drunk, and it started improvising. Later, someone with actual neurological experiences joined the panel, and they were so calm and respectful, and they were just asking questions.
Okay, so I have had epilepsy for most of my life. It went away for whatever weird reason. I don't know, it's not supposed to do that. My mom had epilepsy, my birth mother and my sister had epilepsy, both of them their whole lives. When I had a seizure, I would seize, so full-on shaking and things of that nature.
I know what it is.
I've never heard of you before. Like, I don't keep up with. I've never ever seen you before. A video I just saw, and it was you, and it was like obviously a recording of your live, and it was you. In the caption, it said, "Oh, this person just faked a seizure," because like you were like,
Okay.
it looked like you were like having like a tremor, like a thing, but then you were like super alert, and like you were like, "Oh, I just had a seizure." And in my experience, from what I've gone through and what I've seen happen from all the people who had seizures in my life, that's not how that works. You know what I mean? So that's why I was like, hey, that's kind of like odd. So that's why I was like, well, let me go figure out more about this person, because again, this is just a clip on the internet. Granted, I'm a little bit, I wasn't like super upset. I was more confused. I was like, why? I don't understand why.
Okay, I know what it is.
So, I'm so sorry, I'm not done yet. I'm not done just yet, but then I'll let you finish, okay? But, so when I had come and I had asked that, like, yeah, I was kind of annoyed because I was like, why would you, like, lie about that? That's not a cool thing to lie about. And I know there's two different types of seizures as well. There is, like, full body seizing where you are, like, you are not in control of your body and you're, like, shaking and you black out. You really do. And then there's absent seizures where you just sit and you're, like, disassociated from your body. Both are very, very, very scary. Anyway, so I was upset because from what I'd seen, it looked like you had faked it. Granted, I could have asked it, like, more politely, but I also didn't really take too kindly to the fact that you muted me for the entire live, and then you were, like, super rude to me and told me to shut up 3 times. You know what I mean? But if you would like to explain your time, I am done now, so you may continue. Go ahead.
Number 3. I am disabled. I literally am. I have 3 mental health issues. I have other issues as it is. Brain problems run in my family, and I had what they call the benign mass pushing on my part of the brain that stems with anxiety, depression, and when I was overstimulated by stupid people on the internet, stupid people in real life, stupid people at work, it happened. And then it took me like 3 doctors to figure out what's going on in my head, so I had to wait until they had an appointment for the surgery. So it was a benign mass pushing on a prefrontal lobe that had me having some kind of convulsions, or seizures as I like to put it, because I know what epilepsy is like, because I dated a guy with epilepsy. I am still friends with that guy who has epilepsy, and it's not fun to have epileptic. And he knows, and he saw it on my lives, both here on TikTok and other social media platforms. He knew something was wrong with me, and he's the one who recommended me to go and take a doctor's appointment. And it was a real thing. They went through surgically up my nose to remove it with a laser, and I haven't had an episode since.
Okay, sick.
Sarah's response is top tier for me. Well, my ex had epilepsy, so I know what it's like. Do you, Sarah? That's like saying, hey, you know that my ex was a dentist, right? And now I know how to perform a root canal. But Sarah said, and I quote, "You don't know my life and what I've been through."
But from what I'm hearing is you're not saying that you had seizures, you're saying that you felt like you had convulsions. And that doesn't answer my question to the one where you recorded yourself, it looked like having a seizure, and then you immediately came out of it after,
Yeah,
like,
that was the thing. My mom.
Milliseconds.
Yeah,
you know, and there was like
it's
no
the thing.
lasting
It's
side
okay. You may be a professional in epileptic, but you don't know everyone's medical or brain activity. You don't know. It could have been a new
Well,
thing.
it's called epilepsy, not epileptic. But I understand what you're trying to say.
Yes, and I'm not good at explaining myself, but you're not my doctor. You were not my family. You don't know what I went through, and again, nobody does, and I'm not good at
No,
explaining.
but I know how seizures work.
Oh no, you guys, it's happening. My turning accountability into a guilt trip meter it just broke. As we've spoken, I'm not a neurologist, but if something like this were fake, Sarah's basically telling us, I'm not lying, you're just mean. Which is classic gaslighting. It is textbook page 1. As the convo went on, she couldn't quite keep her story straight. First it was epilepsy, then it was non-epileptic seizures from anxiety. Then it was, there's a mass pushing on my brain that controls overstimulation. Okay, so we researched, with non-epileptic seizures, it is potentially possible to come out of it by hearing a familiar voice. And then she backtracked and she was like, okay, wait, I only used the word seizure because it was easier to explain what really happened. Okay, I'm gonna go to the ER claiming to have a heart attack. And then later I'm gonna say, oh, I meant heartburn, but it's like the same vibe, right? The doctor would be like,
goodbye. You have been banned from this hospital.
Of course, the internet starts digging. And what they found was a lot. Because now we're gonna talk about Eddie Munson. Eddie Munson, the fictional metalhead heartthrob from Stranger Things, played by Joseph Quinn. He is chaotic, charming, and he had a guitar solo in The Upside Down. And dies a hero. This is a classic fan favorite. For most people, sad character death. I'm gonna maybe make some art about it, maybe buy a Funko Pop. But for Sarah, this was love. I'm trying so, but for Sarah, this was love. I can't do it seriously. And I'm not talking, right, oh, he's my favorite character kind of love. We're talking full-blown spiritual matrimony, emotional monogamy with a Netflix character. The TikTok that really launched her into viral orbit was a video she made dancing dramatically to War Is Over by John Lennon. The song was made in 1971, mainly to protest the Vietnam War. Very artsy, very emotional, very winter art school project energy. But what really caught people's attention wasn't the aesthetic, it was the caption. 6 months, 11 days, 86 hours, 30 minutes, and 20 seconds since Eddie left us. Yes, left us. Like he died in the war, not so much in a Netflix script. And for a split second, it feels profound. Until you realize, when she recorded this, there were multiple actual wars going on in the world. So what probably did feel like a spiritual experience, it did come off as, yes, let's cry over a TV character while actual human beings are living through real war. Priorities though. And if you check the comments, you'd be like, oh, well, everyone is immediately on board with this. That's because she immediately limited them. But honestly, the TikTok was not even the weirdest part. But Sarah did not just mourn Eddie's death, no. She made an entire alternate timeline about it. Hundreds of TikToks dedicated to Eddie Munson. We are talking full-blown fantasy sagas. Like, you know, a full 40-part series chronicling the life she imagined with him, birthday celebrations, anniversary posts, fictional wedding vows, and at times it got graphic, which is why her TikTok has been banned multiple times. But I'm gifting you with a sample from one of her PG-rated posts.
What's your name?
Hazel.
And what's your full name?
Hazel Grace Lancaster. What?
I didn't say anything.
Why are you looking at me like that?
Because you're beautiful.
Oh my god.
I enjoy looking at beautiful people.
And that is about enough of that. She even cosplays as Eddie, refers to herself as a metalhead, and has fully modeled part of her personality around him. The commitment is impressive. The emotional investment, however, worrying. And that's when you start thinking, why? Why so much obsession over a character who has, I don't know, 75 minutes of screen time? But according to Sarah, it's actually tragic because Eddie reminds her of one of her real-life friends who died tragically. Oh my gosh, Sarah, I'm so sorry. Except, wait a second. People reversed image searched the tribute photo. And it turned out to be a stock image from Google. Like, zero effort. We're talking the kind of photo you use as a placeholder on your PowerPoint. But it gets deeper because Sarah actually flew to the Comic-Con in Texas to meet the one and only Joseph Quinn, the actor who plays Eddie Munson. That's a totally normal fan moment. But the way she describes it, I'm telling you, I've read the same thing on Wattpad. According to Sarah, she tripped and Joseph helped her up gently. He signed her Funko Pop, and then he looked into her soul and he said, "Please be safe."
Okay, once again, as I repeat this, when I met Joseph Quinn last year in person, his aura was kind. Yes, sometimes he felt annoyed by some of the real crazy fans, which I waited patiently, both times to get my picture and my autograph. But when he saw me get my inhaler out, and as my autographs, both a Funko Pop and a picture, was getting signed, he let me stay by one of his, security guards of the convention as I was shaking them too dry or blowing on them. And then he waved me goodbye and said, please be safe. He did say that. I don't talk about it that much because everyone refuses to believe I had a genuine encounter with this man. And I saw that some of the fans were quite annoying him. I felt a little annoyance with his aura, or whatever you want to call it, mood, impact. But with me, I was respectful, I was quiet, I was patient. He appreciates that. I gave him a nice gift. Something simple. Something not, like, related too much to Stranger Things. I got him a little bit of what he did in different roles. A little bit of everything. And I made him a jewelry box. I don't have a picture of it because I forgot to take a picture of it before I went to the convention. So, I don't care if he will never see me again. He might not even remember who the hell I am. But that genuine encounter shows that if you are true to yourself, and you are true to the fans that are just here to enjoy their convention, you will have a good encounter with a celebrity. If I ever do get to meet Joseph Quinn again, I might get a smaller picture of the photo I have with him from Dexys into like a wallet photo, and show him and ask him, maybe, I said, you may not remember me, but I met you in Dallas for the first time. That's all I'll say. If he says he doesn't remember me, oh so well. Doesn't matter. But it makes me feel happy that he genuinely said, I wish I could, like he probably would say, I wish I could remember, I meet so many people, but it's really good to see you again. Normal, sweet, kind, very nice, but that's it. To private accounts that don't look like they have a lot of following are getting blocked and deleted, and yeah, I'm just trying to live my best life because I don't want you guys to, find out one day through my socials that, I got dark all of a sudden. I don't want you, well, the people who genuinely care about me here online, I don't want you to find out through my socials that I'm no longer on this earthly plane because I'm so tired of the hate and the harass, because I'm a good person and I do donations, which I should get back to. I should get back to trying on the shirts that don't fit me anymore so I can donate it to a place with one of my mom's friends who the children have Down syndrome.
Okay, listen. I'm about 95% sure Joseph Quinn was actually nice to her. Because most actors are. I mean, you're at Comic-Con, you're meeting fans, this is the job. But being kind is not spiritual. It is what one might refer to as basic human decency. But here's where things take a turn, because Sarah says Joseph didn't just say hi, he felt her aura. He appreciated her energy more than anyone else is there. And okay, maybe that did happen, I don't know. That still doesn't mean your souls are cosmically aligned. And no, she was not joking at all. She doubled down and said she could sense that he was annoyed by the other fangirls, but not her, no, because she had respectful energy. All right, let's get something straight. So Sarah was faking seizures. She was faking being in a coma. Listed enough health conditions to be on the WebMD homepage, but amidst all the chaos, she did have time for a boyfriend, and his name is Michael.
They say long distance never works, and I think that's stupid. Hearts pick people, not places, and it kills me that your place happens to be 1,627 miles away. But that has never meant I don't love you like you live next door. But it also doesn't mean it isn't hard. I have never missed someone so deeply who I haven't actually lost, and missing you is one of the most difficult things I've ever had to do. Watching all of the other couples get to have the little things like goodbye kisses or falling asleep to the sound of your heartbeat instead of goodnight whispered through the phone, but it is all worth it the moment I run into your arms and I'm home again.
That is just about as much airtime as he gets. One monologue squeezed in between her and all of her Eddie Munson fantasies. Meanwhile, Eddie, he's fiction by the way, well, he gets love letters, voiceover fan fiction, good morning TikToks, fully NSFW fantasy edits, entire spiritual arcs about their bond transcending dimensions. Let's set it up like a story. Sarah is our protagonist, right? Michael, he's kind of like the background character in his own relationship. Oh no, I'm so sorry, that's my bad. No, she did post about her boyfriend. Sarah posted a collage of fan art of her and Michael. Super cute, right? I mean, wow, their love inspired artists all around the world. That's low-key beautiful. She just, and I cannot stress this enough, went onto Pinterest and grabbed a bunch of random couple drawings and slapped them onto a slideshow like a scrapbook project that is due in 4th period. No context, no credit, just, oh, look at this beautiful art of me and my man, heart emoji. When it was probably in reality just like someone's OCs named like Emily and Jason, drawn by a random artist who has no idea that they are now part of Sarah's cinematic universe that nobody signed up for. And the internet, it did figure that out in like 6 seconds. Because, and shocking plot twist, you can reverse image search things. Shout out to our boy Michael, who did not even get original content. Now buckle up, because this was just our pregame. Things really spiraled when Joseph Quinn, aka Eddie's actor, was rumored to be dating Doja Cat. And Sarah did not take this lightly.
I just don't like seeing people in any situation, whether they're like me, in a relationship or celebrity, getting their heart broken when you look up to them very wellly. That's all that matters to me, and I'm not trying to fight with anybody, and I'm trying to stay composed at the moment. But again, it's not fair that I... Oh, fuck you, you're getting locked. Okay, let's just put it in this category. Robin Williams. We thought he was a fun, loving guy, and he laughed it all off. But then, recently, his anniversary came up of his passing again. He's been gone for 10 years. And people thought Robin Williams was the most funniest guy. He was a loving, funny guy. And everyone says, oh, he can't be sad, he's too happy. And he's gone. By his own hand. You don't know a person's emotional status unless you're an empath, unless you can see aura. Which, I'm not saying I can see aura, but I can feel when a good relation happens and a bad relation happens. Even though I'm maybe my own self, when I was dating certain people in my own personal life, blinded by love. But in the end, I got hurt quite a bit by guys. And my empath ability should have felt that more often than be stupid by love. So when I tell you that I may not know them, but I can feel it's not a good relationship. And that's not just because I like Joseph Quinn quite a bit and I went to go meet him twice at the same convention. But don't mess with my feelings. Don't mess with my emotions.
Why? I'm an empath, and I can feel when relationships are wrong. She said Doja Cat has daddy issues, and that Joseph's career would suffer. And now she might have to burn her autograph from Joseph. You know, that's totally normal and not at all parasocial behavior.
Was manifesting this for 2 years, maybe 3 years, and if it is so, I've lost respect for Joseph. I just have lost respect. So I'm sorry, I've lost respect for Joseph Quinn if he's dating Doja Cat, because just no. Just no, I can't. I mean, I'm more concerned, not as just a fan of him, but for his career, because Doja Cat herself has been a problematic, like a lot of most singers like herself, in the same kind of genre she does, has had a lot of problematic issues with the dating life, and I don't want Doja Cat fans to hate on Joseph Quinn if it doesn't work out. Because are you going to get rid of your picture of him? To be for real, I might. To be for real, I don't care if I spent $110 for these photos. I might have to get rid of them. Because I cannot, like, Joseph Quinn could date any other person, and I would be okay with it, but not Doja Cat. She started this, like, when I still had an account on Twitter, which I don't anymore, and, like, stalking him, basically, on, like, different platforms, and kept asking her agent to literally like hook up a meeting with them. And of course, even I have to find them. I think I have them saved on my phone, screenshots or videos of like Joseph on Saturday Night Live or other interviews, like saying, how do you feel about the Doja Cat like wanting to have you? And he's like the uncomfortable, he's like scratching the back of his head, like he has to say it. I'm kind of flattered, I guess, but I had to respectfully turn her down. I have to find that video, I just do. Sorry, Doja Cat's a problematic person. She's got daddy issues severely. She just does. That's the one thing. If you got severe daddy issues, no.
You might think, oh, she'll pull back from that though. No, she doubled down. You have to understand though, Sarah can sense auras. And her empath gifts were telling her that Joseph wasn't truly happy. Because as we know, Eddie is in fact her soulmate across any timeline. Which is like, okay, if you really loved him, wouldn't you want him to be, I don't know, happy? And even if, stay with me here, his happiness does not involve spiraling through your fictional multiverse. Apparently not, because it's not about his happiness. It's about her narrative. Okay, but that, I'm telling you, was not even her final form. Because there is lying on the internet, and then there's Sarah Rawrr. Some influencers, you know, they'll stretch the truth a little bit, but she does not lie. She commits. And we're talking timelines that shift more than a Marvel multiverse. Let's start with one of the biggest hits, I
was hit by a bus when I was younger and fell into a coma that made my brain stop developing.
Saga. At first, it sounds like the plot of a mid-tier Netflix drama. And then, but it wasn't a bus, it was a car. And then her mom, of all people, chime in and say, no, she wasn't hit, she just fainted. And then, plot twist, her mom randomly comes back later and she's like, oh no, Sarah actually was hit. It's almost like she was coached or maybe just exhausted. This is not an isolated case. I have prepared for you her go-to formula. Make an unbelievable claim. Get contradicted by a friend, family member, or I don't know, reality. Rewrite the narrative and complain on camera until people stop asking questions. Let's roll the tape on another one, the infamous spine punch. Allegedly, Sarah was punched so hard at summer camp that her vertebrae shifted and her spine turned purple. She floated in the Hudson River with an apple while hypothermic.
And when we got to the island, I was just trying to eat my lunch on the island, which is like one of the many mini islands in New York on the river. There are hundreds actually that you could like camp out on and be safe. So one day I was just eating my apple and my peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and she decided to punch me in the spine. It wasn't cool of her. I don't know why she punched me in the spine, but she did. And I went to the tall pier. Like, you could climb this tall rock. So I sat on the edge of this rock just to try to cool off. And yeah, I accidentally dropped my apple in the Hudson River, and I wasn't even done eating it. So it sucks I lost my apple. But when we got back, it started to rain on the Hudson River, so we were like trying to canoe back as fast as possible to the shore. It was like maybe, I don't know, 30 meters from the island to the shore, and our canoe, my canoe that I wasn't canoeing, I was sitting in the middle because I was a big girl. They wanted me to sit in the middle, and the canoe flipped over, and I tried swimming with my life vest. But when I found out when Emily hit my spine, which is dead center, she kind of moved one of my vertebrae. Like, she punched me so hard in the spine that it moved one of my vertebrae. So I was in a life vest just floating in the Hudson River. And when someone pulled me ashore, which is just one of the older like counselors, I said I need to go to a hospital, and they didn't believe me. So I literally got hypothermia, I got sick, and my spine was purple.
This is like some bizarre Girl Scout reboot of the Titanic. And this tale was followed by another, the Hill incident. She claimed that a group of teens pushed her down a hill and no one helped. Fast forward, and a man stabs her in the arm on the subway, but don't worry, because she was able to heal such things with biotin oil. Alright, and then things shift from questionable to straight up unethical, the plagiarism. Sarah has a well-documented history of stealing other people's work. Poetry, lyrics, artwork, you name it. One of the most infamous examples, of course, is the Irish Eyes song. Originally written and performed by the talented Rose Betts, of course Sarah did change a few of the lyrics though. Actually, the only creative twist was swapping the word mother with father.
My father says I have Irish eyes, Irish eyes, Irish eyes. My father says I have Irish eyes. They go ever so green on a bright spring sky, but they're never so green as when I let them cry. My mother says I have Puerto Rican hair, Puerto Rican hair. Brown like the bark of a palm somewhere, like the bed of the rocks where the sea meets, like a thorn in the stem of a Spanish flower.
And when she got called out, her defense was legendary. She claimed that it came to her in a dream. And let's not forget the quote that she swore she wrote herself.
I remember everything that you forgot. That one I wrote a couple years ago. I just want to change to love you like you deserve to be. I promise there hasn't been a day that I stopped wanting you. I wrote it very close together back in the day, wanting you. And you haven't gotten out of my head at all since I first met you. Love her harder than her insecurities, love her deeper than her deepest fears, and prove to her that love conquers all. You deserve someone who isn't confused and about feeling they and the feelings they have for you. All my better days are the ones spent with you. If it was about how revealing their clothes were, rates would quadruple during the summer. But they don't. If it was about how much hugs someone's had in the past, then wouldn't get, but they do. If it's about how attractive a person was by conventional standards, the only thin, white, able people would get, but they don't. If it's about how much they drank, then sober people wouldn't get, but they do. Is not victim falls.
Yeah, a lot of these are just lifted straight out of Tumblr or Pinterest. And then we have lies that serve zero purpose other than flexing fake clout. She claimed she was Jacksepticeye's cousin.
I want to see him. That is also the surprise. We're going to scare my famous cousin a little bit on the YouTubes. We're going to scare him. We are going to try. But again, if he's busy, so I don't want to interrupt him if he's busy.
She was offered a speaking role in a Stan Lee movie. She had a cousin on the set of Stranger Things Season 3, and she was just allowed to hang out on set. She once made a TikTok video saying she lost 68 pounds in 2 weeks, which is just next to impossible, if not unbelievably unhealthy. And of course, lest we forget, she prevented a school shooting with dancing. I'm gonna need more context from this. I'm gonna need an hour-long YouTube explanation. She captioned the video, 2017 school shooting. I did the same thing I saw in a movie scene and I stopped it. I am lucky to be alive, which obviously was a lie. And then the cherry on top was that she had former classmates in the comment section calling her out for it, which lying about your weight is like, okay, bruh. But lying about a school is just immoral. She also said she was an understudy in a Broadway play when it turns out she was just in the audience. She tends to see any criticism as hate or bullying. One time she claimed she was checking herself into a mental hospital because she was overwhelmed by it. She posted on her story saying, "Hey guys, so it's me, Sarah. I'm going to check myself into a hospital because I'm being attacked online and I'm physically overwhelmed with working and other stuff, so I am. See you in the next life, bye." A little while later, her friend even posted to her story. He basically said she's in the hospital, she doesn't have her phone, but he'll keep everyone updated. Nobody really believed her, and then anyways, a few hours later, she was back to posting Eddie Munson edits. But here's the kicker. When people call her out on her lies, she doesn't apologize. She just gaslights or says, "I was misunderstood," or she blames dyslexia. Check this out. She said a transphobic slur on a stream.
I'm seeing that you were saying slurs about transgendered folks, and I don't think
okay, that was taken out of context because I thought that word meant something else, because everyone shortens abbreviation, and I'm a dyslexic person. I don't understand everything, so please, at the end of the day,
and the N-word.
And when called out, her defense was, "Well, my friend said it, so I thought it was fine."
Sarah, you can't say that. That's a slur. Well, my friend said it, so...
that's so cool. It's like not the treasure of my collection, but
it doesn't make it okay. Okay, whatever.
Do you guys want to end the live?
Because I'll end the live right now, and you guys don't get to see anything.
Yes, if you guys...
Because we're adults. We have conversations as adults. Sometimes. We're not meaning it as an offensive term. We're just saying what our friends have said.
Yeah, she's not saying it as a negative thing, so grow up, everybody.
Exactly.
She's not saying it as a negative thing.
You know what? Eat my shorts.
Yeah.
Just kick them out. Delete comments.
Because there's this word called context in what she's saying, and she's not saying it as a slur.
Tim's not. I'm not saying it as a slur.
Yeah, she's saying if she's not saying it as a hateful thing. She's just saying what her friend identifies her dad as. That is it. She's not saying it negative. She's not saying it hateful. She's not saying it as a bad thing. If anything, she's saying it as a positive thing. Saying like, oh, that's cool that my friend's dad is that.
Oh, no.
Oh, her dad's not. Okay, well.
It's a story I cannot say.
I got it. But context, people. Context.
Context doesn't matter. You still said it. You know what? This is why this generation are snowflakes.
Okay, now let's end the live.
Goodbye.
She also used another slur, and her response was basically, my friend said I could say it, so it's fine. And when people pushed back on this, you cannot make this stuff up, she started dancing to distract people on live. That is peak crisis management influencer edition. But at the end of the day, Sarah's patterns really boil down to this. If you call her out, you're a bully. If she offends or hurts people, you're too sensitive. But here's the thing, and it's important, mental illness is not an excuse to lie. It is not a hall pass to steal other people's work. And it is most certainly not a shield from criticism. It's like, okay, if I, Michelle, forget to do something really important, I want to be held accountable for that so I can do better in the future. I'm certainly not going to just blame it on a disorder and call it a day. Obviously, there are real situations in which your condition might affect your behavior, and that does deserve compassion. But there's a difference between explaining behavior and excusing it. One is honesty. The other is manipulation cloaked as vulnerability. And look, I don't think Sarah lies about this stuff because she is evil, antagonist energy. The thing is, pathological lying is real. It can come from trauma, compulsive behaviors, real mental health struggles. That does deserve understanding. However, it doesn't quite erase the harm, because Sarah lying does not exactly happen in a vacuum. It gets her sympathy, it gets her attention, it gets her power. And when things start falling apart, she floats right back in. Spine bruises, lyrics stolen, saving lives with TikTok dances, and pointing the finger at everyone but yourself is messy and manipulative. Sarah doesn't seem focused on telling the truth. She seems focused on controlling the story. And if that means rewriting reality, she'll do it. So what the hell even was that? Fake seizures, stolen poetry, a fictional soulmate named Eddie Munson, a psychic reading of Doja Cat. And at this point, we know Sarah's not just a TikToker, she is a full-blown cinematic universe. It's not quirky, it's not deep, it is exhausting. So if your life ever feels like a disaster, just remember, at least you don't have psychic beef with Doja Cat. If you made it to the end, do me a favor and comment a clown emoji in the comments so that I know that you're still sane. Smash the like button, subscribe, turn the bell on if you're into chaotic internet lore. And I'll see you in the next one where I will be proclaiming my love for a fictional Netflix character. Until next time, love ya.